We're about 20 days away to Oregon's spring election now. On May 15th, you'll get to vote on some key races, including which Republican will face off with Governor Kate Brown in November. And that's the focus of this week's edition of Willamette Week. If we like to show it, there it is right now. News editor Aaron Mesh joins me now to talk about some of the races you'll see on your ballot. Some interesting ones here. Let's talk about the governor and how's that shaping up, Aaron?
Well, Kate Brown faces no significant competition in the May primary. It's a Democratic primary. There's also a Republican primary. And that's a little more heated. There are three serious candidates in that race. The front runner on the Republican side is Knute Buehler. He's a state representative out of Bend. And has sought statewide office before. He's a moderate. There are two far more conservative candidates, Greg Wooldridge, who's a former Blue Angel pilot, and Sam Carpenter. And all three of them are seeking the Republican nomination. So likely Buehler advances simply because the other two split the more conservative wing of the party. Meanwhile, Brown is still in some ways looking for a signature achievement on the Democratic side and could face a tough race in November.
Let's talk about City Council if we can, because this is seat 3. This was the seat held by Saltzman, Dan Saltzman. This is very interesting. In fact, we had a panel of the seat 3 candidates on this program on Your Voice, Your Vote just last week, and I even said at the time, it's going to be tough for voters to pick. A lot of good choices there.
It's a packed race. I suspect we're going to see two people end up in the November runoff, because I very strongly doubt with 5 strong candidates that we're going to end up with one of them getting more than 50%. 50% plus one would win the election outright. Multnomah County Commissioner Loretta Smith is likely the front runner in that race. Her opinions, which are often they're different than other people's opinions. Their dissenting views on homelessness and housing issues have catapulted her into the public spotlight quite a bit, because she disagreed often and very vehemently with County Chair Deborah Kafoury. Also in that race is former Representative Joanne Hardesty, who has been a longtime critic of the Portland Police Bureau and an activist for police reform. We also have Andrea Valderrama in that race. She's a David Douglas School Board member and a staffer to Mayor Ted Wheeler. Felicia Williams is in that race. Stuart Emmons is in that race. It's a packed race, but probably for most people what's really interesting about that race and what's caught public attention is that 3 women of color are seeking that seat.
Good, historic, no doubt about it. State Senator District 24, a lot of people talking about that one as well, Aaron.
Well, we've had people on your show before. Rachel Monahan, a reporter in our newsroom, has talked about that race. It's a really interesting race in East Portland that could have larger ramifications for the state, because the hinge issue in that race, which has, again, 3 major candidates running, in this case, the incumbent Rod Monroe, Shemia Fagan, a former state representative, and Casey Jama, a nonprofit leader. The 3 of them are all arguing about rent control, and they're arguing about tenant protections, and they're arguing about no-cause evictions, mainly because Monroe's been an opponent of reforms in that spot. Despite the fact that it's a Democratic primary, there's a huge amount of infighting in the Democratic Party for that seat, and it could shift the balance of power in the state legislature.
Well, we've got lots coming up in this primary. It's good for us in the news business, no doubt about it. Aaron, thank you. To learn more about the candidates and to find out who Willamette Week endorses, check out the latest edition on newsstands now. You can also find all the information on their website, wweek.com. Deb?